Okay, what's happening, everybody? I'm about to share my screen. All right, what's happening, people? What's this? What's going on here? Did we expect this? Was this a surprise? Was this a surprise? This was not a surprise. If you look from my previous videos, I told you that the C wave of the D wave was coming, and it is here. Finally. Right? So let's just not be surprised and talk about what's happening next. All right. So I called the exact top of wave 2, right? It was the high here, the high, right? Obviously, when you change the time frames, the labels move, right? But I did go back through the videos if you don't believe it. And why is that? We broke the magenta line and went straight down. That's Arius wave in action for you, right? That's Arius wave in action right there. That's why I talk the way I talk, because I don't need to try and figure out what the market is doing. Arius wave tells me what the market is doing. All I do is observe and produce content mainly geared towards my members, right? The people who actually pay for the program, okay? So if I go on these lovely little rants and talk about people who just seem to not know much about what they're doing, look, I'm going to stop doing that now because basically there's more work to be done. Okay, so the goal here is to hit 27 cents and buy at 27 cents. However, we don't know if this is the end of wave 3 right now. Okay, because wave 3s happen pretty quick and they're pretty sharp and people get pretty nervous pretty quickly. So as soon as they see this sort of thing, that's when they start to kind of sell as you know, panic selling, right? So I can see that there's a 1, 2, 3 in there. But as you know, with fractal patterns, especially with sharp wave 3s, this thing could go lower. And if we're measuring the length of wave A, right? Right now, all you got to do is measure from the start of wave C, right? And get a rough estimate. Now it's approaching the same length. So depends. It depends. We could see a 4-5. 4-5, C's done, right? And then once C's done for D, you see the bounce for E to retest that, as I've previously mentioned, and then we go down, right? So my stream's bit rate is not as good as it should be, but hopefully that's not a problem as we progress through having a look at these waves. Okay. So at the moment, who could possibly say anything about my analysis? Arius wave works, right? Plain and simple. Look at the stop loss, right? Because I gave you the clue. Look at the stop loss you could have used there if you wanted to short that. Once we broke that magenta line, did it come back? No, it did not. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that Arius wave prepares you for if you are so inclined to margin trade, right? Now, Arius wave, it came from the world of basically studying every single chart known to man except cryptos. But once I applied it to cryptos, it took a few months to sort of adjust to the crypto world, did my research, everything. But once I sort of realized that it's the same thing, basically I came to the conclusion that Arius wave works on every single chart that is based on human behavior. So there's nothing else to say really. If that was untrue, then I could never have predicted a wave 3 the way I just did then. Out of everything that's happened already, using that as the proof, as the evidence. The proof is in the pudding, like I always say. Okay. So to me, it doesn't really matter too much about, which wave breaks the low, because I'm going to buy at 27 cents regardless, right? And then if it comes back up, comes back down, am I going to care? No, because I'm expecting wave C to be done soon, and then we're going to move up in wave D. Okay. And I've explained to you before that we have some pretty high price targets, but we need to see the C wave end first, right? And if it's not apparent to you, the market is becoming weaker, which is why there is a triangle here in the first place. The triangle is usually the last move, right? Because it can't produce that last low. So after the bulls and the bears have had their battle, so as you call it, then eventually it resolves and completes the pattern of human behavior based on social mood, and then you get the pattern continues and it never ends, right? So this is all part of a bear market rally. This is just a wave C down in a wave 2 of a larger wave 2. There is a bigger bull market coming after this one. So the one that comes up next is going to be still part of the larger wave D. But obviously, let's just see this bounce first and buy. Let's see the buying happen first before we get too excited. Okay. So it's good to see the confirmation. It's good to see that, the moves are proving themselves. Peace of mind. You can put to rest any doubt about what this is doing. And it basically confirms my previous waves, even though I had to go back and look at the XLM BTC charts and all that sort of stuff, which I did eventually do, right? So if we're looking at XLM BTC, right, you can see that basically we escaped the triangle because it needs to make a new low, right? I mentioned this last night, right? It's following the triangle, and it's not just based on one exchange, it's based on the other one. Like this is the Bittrex chart, as I mentioned yesterday, right? It has to make a new low by law. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Fifth wave could be the longest, right? Or we could be looking at 1, 2, 3 completed now, and then 4, 5 to hit the low. Like I haven't delved into these waves as much as I might do a little bit more as we get a little bit closer, just to really feel how close we really are to the end of this particular move on the Bittrex chart. But if we go to the Binance chart, right, it's the same scenario, except we have basically hit the bottom of the triangle, which to me sort of goes back to that other idea on the Bittrex chart that we may have seen a 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to see a 4 and a 5 down. So I suppose as we go along, I might decide to, when I get a bit of time, I'll do a little bit more in-depth analysis on exactly which wave counts are going on here. But to me, I mean, is there much point to it? It's going to make a new low. So no matter how you look at it, if you want to learn how the waves work, just join the program. It's just easier. Mainly, I'm just, obviously I'm promoting what I do, right? Because obviously that's why I'm showing you what I'm showing you. Because I mean, a lot of people don't understand the way that I label the waves, right? That they don't understand. So a lot of people tend to doubt what I do until they really start to see how it works. And then, once we've dialed in what's happening, then quite simply put, you know, it'll speak for itself. So I just chose XLM because out of all the other coins, I could see more potential in future price action, right? So I've spoken about the $160 target, but that has to be based on where the wave E ends after we see the next wave D up, and that wave D could happen pretty quick. It'll break the all-time high, right? So if I zoom out a little bit, I'll just quickly explain that again in case you don't know what I'm on about. Okay, this is basically a wave C that's about to end. Okay, we're going to see the wave D. Hang on, let me just get rid of this. Okay, we're going to see the wave D break the all-time high. Okay, whether it's the A wave of the wave D that does it, or it's the C wave of the wave D that does it. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. All I know is that I expect to move up, and then will it retest the all-time highs? And that's where I get my $160 target from, right? So this could happen. This D wave could happen faster than you think. So don't use this as a guide, although it could be, you know, fairly accurate. It's just a guess, right? We have to track it every wave as it comes. You know that I do that on a consistent basis, almost daily. When I see it happen, I do it. Today I did a YouTube live stream before the TradingView one, just in case I catch people in different time frames who can then sort of feel like they've caught a live stream before, rather than the other way around where they keep missing them. So I thought, you know what, live stream it and then do another supplemental TradingView video update later. Okay. So far, as you can see, we had the wave 3 and it was pretty sharp. It was nice to watch because it happened so quickly. And yeah, basically that's it. Well, first of all, Unreal Cow 666. Good to see you, Robert. Good to see you. Hope you go to bed soon because, you know, rest is important. Unless you're taking something to, you know, not make you go to bed. CA 0.1 first, as in 0.1 cent first, or 0.1 or below first? Nah. I reckon that's coming in the future, but I don't think it'll be that low, right? I don't think it'll be that low. Although, don't quote me on that. I haven't got the chart up to talk about that. So, you know, I have also previously said that XRP is going to go lower, and it hasn't been like, let's just make a comparison here. It hasn't been doing the exact same thing because they are not related. XLM and XRP are not brothers and sisters, all right? Like some people think, all right? I expect XLM to grind all the way back down in a very slow way, back down to the lows, okay? I've explained this in other videos before. I don't expect too much out of XRP. I do like XRP. I want to buy XRP, but when the time is right. And when will that be? Well, it's going to correlate. If you have seen the bullish series on my website, if you haven't, go to www.reswave.com, understand what the bullish series is all about and what I expect in the broader sphere, in the broader landscape of what's going on. Okay, the only reason I'm looking at XLM is because I want to make some profits before we hit that top, before we make that high. Okay, but that is also going to crash eventually, right? How far? I think I've explained how far I think before. It's usually to the area of the end of the first wave. So I need to use the STR USDT chart to explain this one. So that's what that blue line is. So it could crash back to around 0.05. Roughly. This is roughly speaking, all right? We have to count the waves. The waves will be the evidence, but in terms of RES wave, and it gives you an idea of what's coming next, and that's how we use it. That's why it's valuable, and it's on special until the end of June. So if you get it before the end of June, good on you. If you don't, well, the price will double, right? And wouldn't be surprised if the price of XLM doubles too. So it's interesting timing how I've set that up. So yeah. 7 to 10 cents this week. No, I'm buying it at 27 cents. I've said that. I did this knowing from one of your streams that the potential to hit 27 cents was there. Taylor Whiting, yes. And that is why I have been tracking this one and this one only, because I don't want anything to influence my current analysis, because I want to highlight the effectiveness of RES wave. And plus, we're in lockdown in Melbourne. In Australia here, we're in lockdown. So I'm also very busy with other things as well. Remote learning, children, basically doing that on my own. So just, making time for everything. So I'm trying to be as thorough as possible with XLM, so that way we make less mistakes. And once we have more time, then obviously we can do more things. So that's all coming soon. Yes, welcome APX Predator. The Predator is in the building. Bulls are buying BTC around 29 to 31K. Okay. I'm not going to comment on Bitcoin at the moment. I will have a look at the chart and post something soon, because I do believe that's about to go way lower. So if you think that's where they're going to buy it, then there's probably like a bull trap. I think it's called a bull trap. Yeah. So guys, don't buy at 27 cents because it's going to 10 cents or even less, says CA. Okay, you do that. Go ahead, do that. I'm not a financial advisor. If you think you can get in at a cheaper price, by all means, do it. Knock yourself out, right? Bulls are cows. BTC is going under 10K. I'll drink to that. Where is the profit going to go from BTC? Probably into the alts. Not all of them, but the patterns will tell me which one. I'm not going to sit here and try and guess. The patterns will tell me which one. Okay. So that's why I think we should just take it easy and just watch this thing unfold. If it unfolds in the way that we expect it to, then it'll have more credibility. If you think that this is something else, maybe the start of something worse, you could be right. So I'll be providing videos on how to know, how to confirm that it's going to go higher. So I'm going to give you the clues as to what's going to be like confirmation that it's going higher and that it's not going to go any lower. But that hasn't happened yet. So that'll give you added peace of mind as well. But yeah, I see this as a wave 4. I don't see it as a wave. I don't see this as a wave 2, right? I see this as a wave 4, and there's alternation between the two. That's why the alternation is massive. If you go to the daily, and I don't usually do this, by the way, but if you go to the daily RSI, okay, there's a bit of weakness in the market there, right? Don't usually use that. If you pull out the 500, we've basically got a crossover. If you go to the lower level of the 1000 period moving average versus the 500, this is still in an uptrend. Okay, that's why I believe it's having trouble making that new low. But yeah, that's still above it. So to me, you know, the waves, you can use them with other tools, right? But the one that I like the most is the XLM BTC chart, right? I'll just turn off these moving averages for a second. If you go to the weekly chart of the XLM BTC, right? This is the A wave, right? This is the A wave. So it's already hit the lowest point in terms of weakness against BTC, right? So that means that if we go any lower here, that means that this is a wave 2, and it's going to break. It'll break below the start of wave A, and that I don't think that's possible. So therefore, I reckon people are going to be surprised, and most people are wrong anyway. So who cares about other people? Just do what you believe in. If you believe in RES wave, use it. If you don't, use something else. No one's forcing you to do anything. But I just think that we've seen the weakest point of XLM against BTC already happen. So that's why I think a lot of that BTC is going to go into XLM, at least in the short term, before the top occurs. And we want to be out of there by then anyway. We want to be moving into something more stable whilst some real, you know, shit hit the fan moment happens. But let's cross that bridge when we get there. So I suppose 88 under $1, blood on the streets. Yes. CEA, if all that happens, then I'd expect a nice bounce for sure. Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, it's going to bounce anyway, even if it does go lower. But you still doubled your XLM if you would have done what I said in the first place. You'd still be doing pretty well if you doubled it. So if compared to if you didn't double it, right? You know, it just might make you a little bit happier, but that's about it really. And the reason I say that is because this is just the beginning. There's so much more stuff happening in the future with cryptos and markets in general that we're just getting excited over something small when there's something much bigger on the horizon. So basically that's it. Unless somebody else has any other questions, I believe I have covered a fair whack of what's going on here. The D wave is nearing completion. Watch out for that for the end of the D wave, but I'll probably get another video out later to talk about that more. Hopefully we've seen a bit more price action. Okay, there's a couple of questions coming through. So before I go, I'll answer these ones. Taylor Whiting, I hadn't sold, so I'm stuck holding the bag and have $2 cost average. Yeah, it's fine. You know, it takes time to understand the right way to do things. RS wave is just one example. Other people use moving averages or oscillators, right? So you're discovering things, right? So don't worry so much about now. Try to learn something for the future. That'll make you better. I'm so happy I sold all my XLM when you said so. I'm ready to buy back in. Jose, thank you. I am dream chasing. Is it still going to $55? Well, like I said before, if we break those highs in Wave D and retest in E, then we're going to go to $160 before the big crash. Okay, that's my belief. If anything changes along the way, we'll know depending on where that E wave ends. Okay, so if it retests the all-time high and doesn't go below it once we break it, then it's potentially going to, right? But if for some reason the E wave comes back down a little bit lower, then that's where we measure from. And then we take it from there, right? So not exactly clickbait that I used, but in a way, it's kind of like opening your mind to something that you probably haven't seen before, to an idea, and with a methodology that's basically I created over 6 years, you know, and been testing since then. So it's been probably like 6, 7, 8 years now, and I'm not going to stop. I'm just getting started. All the hard work has been done. Now the members learn. They contact me regularly. I try to mentor them. There are some that are really into it, and there are some that are sort of I don't know, maybe they find it too hard or don't want to reach out. But I encourage everyone to reach out to me. I'm always got time for everybody. All right, that's why I keep my posts to a limit, with especially focusing on XLM USD, because my time is limited. But yeah, I suppose the proof is in the pudding, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining. There's going to be more time for more questions in the future. Hopefully you found this stream helpful for you, and hopefully you caught it. If you didn't, you'll catch it next time. Plus, I'll put another video out later. And good afternoon, good evening, and good night.